Farpoint is one of the first games developed for PlayStation VR that feels like more than a tech demo, a proof of concept, or a traditional game with VR features slapped on as an afterthought. That works to its advantage, because while it would be a mediocre shooter if you played it on a normal screen, in VR it feels good, especially when you play with the new PlayStation VR aim controller. Here's one example of how Farpoint succeeds as a VR game by failing as a shooter. Enemies only ever come at you from the front. That lets you play the whole game without having to turn around much. By traditional shooter standards, it's boring design, but in Farpoint, it helps stave off the motion sickness some people feel in VR. And it doesn't feel like a simplistic shooting gallery, thanks to a wide variety of foes that behave intelligently in combat, and big levels that encourage you to pop from cover to cover as your enemies gain ground and try to flank you. If you're comfortable in VR and want an extra degree of control, you can fiddle with the options and enable using an analog stick to turn left and right. If you can stomach it, I strongly recommend choosing the smooth look option. That becomes more or less necessary in Farpoint's challenging co-op missions, but even VR lightweights should be able to handle the campaign. What makes Farpoint noteworthy is the phenomenal way its gunplay feels. There's a deeply satisfying rhythm to handling these weapons. You see their intricate moving parts clicking and sliding as you methodically empty their chambers, tap the reload button, and physically tip the controller up and back towards your shoulder to swap between them. Hefting the surprisingly light aim controller up to your face and closing one eye to line up your sights feels intuitive, snappy, and natural, better than any other shooter I've played in VR. The precision rifle and shotgun, in particular, feel like a match made in heaven, and although Farpoint could have used more weapon variety, it nails the basics so well that it's easy to recommend for that alone. At around 5 hours to complete, Farpoint doesn't overstay its welcome. As you try to rescue some scientists stranded on an alien world, the story takes some predictable turns, and you awkwardly have to watch cutscenes from a fixed perspective, which isn't great in VR. But along the way, there's a good amount of enemy variety and smart pacing, with chaotic boss fights and large-scale battles scattered among smaller encounters. Plus, there are a handful of bonus modes, including unique 2-player online co-op missions and scored arcade-style challenge levels that add replay value. You can even entertain yourself in the main menu by flinging tchotchkes into a distant porthole for points. Farpoint does feel unfinished in strange ways, with some annoying bugs. At one point, I had to close the game due to a recurring visual glitch that made my whole view go totally black, and when I opened it back up, I'd been sent back several checkpoints like it hadn't saved. Yet, I was stuck equipped with weapons I'd picked up later in the level that were ill-suited for the earlier sections, with literally no way to simply restart the entire level. Farpoint is more than a proof of concept or another tech demo for virtual reality. Ignore its unambitious story, because it's a full-fledged sci-fi shooter that feels fantastic to play, especially with Sony's high-quality aim controller. Several smart control options and design choices cater to a variety of different types of players, and the gunplay is second to none in VR. If I were to recommend one shooter to a PSVR owner, this would be it. For more video game reviews, stay tuned at IGN.